Well, the Stop Killing Games initiative has been successful. It has crossed the 1 million signature mark, but we're not done yet because those signatures are going to end up getting scrubbed, and certainly some of them are going to be duplicates. Some of them are going to be not be able to be verified. So we need to keep signing it. And that's why I'm making a video about Stop Killing Games. Now, there's been a lot of drama around this, and I want to talk a little bit about the drama because it's unavoidable, but more about the initiative, because the initiative is what actually matters. So if many of you who play video games, you probably have experienced this once or twice in your life. For me, it was the Friday the 13th game. That losing its licensing and going offline, that really sucked. But Stop Killing Games is an initiative that was started by popular YouTuber Ross Scott. So the Stop Killing Games campaign grew from growing awareness prompted by YouTuber Ross Scott's initiative of the same name, so that many digital games, so many digital games disappear forever when their servers go offline. Sparked in part by Ubisoft's notorious takedown of The Crew in December 2023, a title that included a single-player content but still necessitated an online connection, SKG maintains that consumers are being sold games with undisclosed use-by dates. This is something we know about. This is also true in terms of, we talk about physical media, right? Buy the DVD, buy the VHS, buy the cartridge, the actual physical game. Because eventually, when that company goes out of business, the game you bought will no longer work, and that's not fair. You paid $50 essentially for a license, not a game. This has been a major issue in the gaming industry for a very long time. Scott likens the practice to planned obsolescence and considers it doubly unethical and historically harmful. This campaign is now seeking legal support through European Citizens Initiative, lobbying for legislation that would force publishers to ensure their games are left in playable condition even after online services are abandoned. Now, I'm going to leave a link to the petition. The only people that can sign the petition right now are my European viewers. So if you're in the European Union and you haven't yet, make sure you sign this. But this is extremely important for American game developers too, in America. Because, well, first of all, a lot of our game devs are in Europe anyway. CD Projekt Red, Ubisoft, stuff like that. But certainly if legislation gets passed, then American companies will react to it. Here's Asomongold talking a little bit about it.
Jacksepticeye made a video about this. If you care about video games as much as I do, then please support Stop Killing Games initiative. This is Ross talking about it just an hour ago. Huge fucking W right there. And then also another massive thing. Let me go back and see if I can find it right here. I'm going to show you guys how many people have already
I think it was almost 800,000 yesterday.
I think we're going to hit it. I do. Like, we have had so many people. Bro, this is like, I'm telling you guys. This is like the Avengers. Like, you've got PewDiePie coming in here, Jacksepticeye coming in here, all of these other people that are like really big creators, like Charlie coming in here, Mudahar making another video about it. Everybody is coming in and pushing this again, and you've got 7.
Right now, it is at 1,004,671. Now, the real goal should probably be closer to 1.1 million or 1.2 million. I know for a fact I have at least 30 or 40,000 regular viewers that are in the European Union. And so if you just go to Stop Killing Games, and then you can go and sign the EU petition, only if you're a EU citizen for now. But the reason this was an initiative that had basically been dead in the water until one individual by the name of Pirate Software, a guy that uses a fake voice recorder because he wants his voice to sound deep like mine. This is a guy that worked at Blizzard largely in irrelevant positions for years, got popular due to gaming the YouTube Shorts algorithm. Good for him, no problem with that. And is maybe one of the most elitist pricks online. This initiative was done and dusted. It was his reaction saying that this was used car salesman BS and all this kind of stuff that caused people like PewDiePie, Jacksepticeye, Moist Critical, and Asomongold to renew the call for these signatures. Here you have, you know.
Hi, my name is Jason Thor Hall, also known as Pirate Software Online. I've been in the gaming industry for about 20 years. I used
Fake voice, by the way.
to work at Blizzard Entertainment, then
Nobody
Amazon
cares.
Game Studios, and now I own my own studio, Pirate Software, by the same name, which is an indie studio, and I've been here for about 8 years now. I also run a massive community. We've got about 180,000 people in Discord, and most of what I do is try to teach other people how to make games, teach them that they can make.
This video has 64,000 dislikes. This is a video 10 months ago when he basically says,
but it actually had a sequel that came out in
you know,
to be a problem from the developer perspective. In line with consumer policies, it is in line with consumer policies. If it wasn't, it wouldn't be there in the first place. So this doesn't really make a lot of sense.
the reason Pirate Software had a meltdown about this is because he runs a publisher, or he works for a publisher. And he knows that if publishers are forced to keep games online in perpetuity, that would be a big financial hit. And that's true. The thing is, if that were true, it would be. The reality is, these developers could absolutely, positively design their games from the ground up in a way that would still allow for the single player content that I paid $70 for to be available. It's really not that complicated. The idea that this is some sort of thing that, you know, developers just couldn't possibly afford is a lie. You know, PewDiePie ended up backing the SKG movement as a petition nears deadline. You know, this is very, very, very good. You see, Pirate Software's very uncalled for attack on SKG is really Streisanding out of control. Now and attracting more people to support the campaign. Now PewDiePie is spreading awareness. Good. So he put this in his, you know, in his top comment. I'm making a whole video about it. Obviously, I know I'm not PewDiePie, but it's not like I've got nobody watching my videos. I've got almost 2 million subscribers. You know, in the comments I've seen mention Stop Killing Games, and I would say I 100% support this movement. It ties in perfectly with what I talked about in my video, Ownership Over Software and Games We Buy. Strongly encourage you to sign the petition. It takes like 30 seconds. Note, if you're outside the EU or UK, you cannot directly sign, but sharing it still helps. This is, you know, this is massive. You know, Moist Critical got in, getting out videos that had 4, 5, 6 million views or something like that. It's absolutely crazy. And who doesn't agree with this? Now, maybe it won't work out, but we have to try something. Here's a brand new article from 80 Level. To the delight of gamers and video game preservation enthusiasts worldwide, YouTuber Ross Scott's Stop Killing Games petition has finally reached 1 million signatures after gaining enormous momentum over the past few days and breaking several 100,000 milestones at breakneck speed. For context, the appeal was directed at the European Commission, which is required to address any petition that reaches 1 million signatures, which meaning if we can, that's why it's got to get to like 1.2, 1.3 to make sure that they can't say, oh, well, here's some fakies, now we can't do it, you know. With the petition now boasting its coveted 1 million, Ross will have the opportunity to present the initiative to the European Commission and speak at a public hearing in the European Parliament, thus greatly increasing the chances of the movement's core objective, forcing game studios to leave games in a playable state, becoming law in the EU. And I would hope that this would become law in the United States shortly after. He just tweeted, "The site says we've cleared 1 million signatures. I hate being like this, but there's a chance a significant number of them aren't real. That means we have to keep signing in the overdrive mode to make up for them. I'll have a video out on this later today." And this is from Accursed Farms. That's who's running it. You know, and for me, you know, getting it to 1.2, 1.3 is like the real safety net. You know, Nux Taku here saying, you know, shout out to Pirate Software. We couldn't have done it without him. It ended up like this Pirate Software guy just became like a wild villain. And, you know, other than being a roach in World of Warcraft, I had no idea who the guy was, other than he clearly You know, he clearly is a rat and uses a voice changer on his voice. But here you have, you know, he had a game come out where people made fun of him. He DMCA'd the game. You know, the guy is just a weasel. But I'm hoping, you know, Asomongold 7 days ago, he won't stop killing games. Well, Pirate Software loses. Gamers so far win a really big, like a really big first step. The fact that we'll get this, you know, we'll be able to put this in front of people is really important. It's already happening to movies, right? Movies, you know, they're not making it on physical. It's digital only. Oops, the streaming rights are gone. You can't stream it anymore. Or even more common, they change the movie and make it woke. They remove certain sections of a movie and say, well, this was problematic. And so the original version becomes not available. By the way, this is his real voice. Just so you guys know, here he is. This is Pirate Software. He's a little chunkier here.
I'm here, guess where? With the games, of course. I'm here with Thor, founder of Pirate Software. How's your show been so far?
It's actually been amazing. It's our first time out here at Denver Comic-Con, and there's so many people, and they love the games. So it's been.
You hear that? Now, the audio is a little tinny, okay? But if you hear how he sounds on the internet...
I know. Oh, that's crazy. I've seen this dude.
We got two, so just focus this.
Yeah.
Run.
Also, are you fine?
Jumping.
Pirate Software is on a rampage.
Yeah.
Despite it being weeks after the original incident, several notable WoW streamers have been banned from Pirate Software's Twitch stream. WoW PvP player Peekaboo IRL discovered his ban thanks to a screenshot.
And to be real with you, the way that streaming works, the way that streaming has always worked, is that it is a collaborative system. And for all the content creators that were out there trying to cannibalize me to boost their numbers for a little while, that may work for now, but in
this is a guy. Ooh, you put my name in the title of your video. You're clout chasing. Again, that's how he tries to sound now. And remember how he sounded. Remember how he sounded in his real voice here. Hey guys.
How's your show been so far?
It's actually been amazing. It's our first time out here at Denver Comic-Con, and there's so.
He tried to say he had a second puberty or whatever that means. Anyway, go sign the signature. This guy sucks. Hope you enjoyed. We'll talk to you again real soon.